Hey, Bunker Labs, welcome to the All In Initiative. I am really excited to welcome our guest today because it's from a unique perspective and also in the art space, which is my personal professional history. So excited to welcome Brian Jenkins from ASAP. Welcome, Brian.
So glad to be here. Thank you, Liz.
Thanks for taking some time out because you've got some big things going on, specifically amidst COVID. But first, can you just introduce our audience to ASAP? What do you do? What's the mission of your organization?
Yeah, so we're the Armed Services Arts Partnership. That's a mouthful, so we can just go with ASAP. We're a nonprofit organization, and what we do is we build creative communities for veterans, service members, military family members, and caregivers through the arts. What that actually means is that we offer classes and performances in everything from stand-up comedy to improv, creative writing, acting, storytelling, drawing, whatever kind of art form you can think of, we probably offer a class or a performance.
So tell me a little bit about those offerings and why you think they're a good fit for the military connected community to participate in as part of that mission.
Absolutely. So the arts are an extremely powerful way, first of all, for people to come together around something. There's a shared sense of purpose when you're creating something together that I think is really powerful. And it's also, the arts are a powerful medium for us to share our stories, right? And I think that especially people who are transitioning from being active duty, maybe from a deployment, we have a lot of stories to tell. And so when you can learn stand-up comedy as a vehicle through which you can process your experience, as an example, I think that it can be really helpful for people. And also it can be really entertaining for your audience as well.
Yes. And I think, the military connect community brings a lot of perspectives. We're actually talking a lot about that amidst COVID because, there's been a lot of memes out there that I'm sure you've seen about how the military is reacting to this versus, civilians and the advice that we can experience that we can offer. But, you've made kind of a change and fast tracked a few things in your organization because we are in an unprecedented time in a situation that's out of our control, much like military life is sometimes. So, yeah. Brian, can you give us some insight into that? What are you doing? What are you changing about your programming?
Yeah, I think this is a community that's used to rapid transitions. And that's certainly something that we've had to go through here. We're an organization whose entire model is based on in-person gatherings of people in classrooms or in theaters or comedy clubs. And so what we've had to do is take all of our classes and our workshops that were previously in classrooms and transition them onto Zoom calls like everybody else. Figure out what do virtual classroom best practices look like, and how do you create a classroom experience that isn't just taking what you were doing in person and putting it on a Zoom call, but how do you actually make it an online native experience? How do you bring out the strengths of a virtual environment that can make it just as positive of an experience as an in-person class? And so along with that, we were actually really lucky that a lot of constraints have been removed because of transitioning to a virtual environment as a result of COVID-19. And so we're actually offering 2 or 3 times as many programs as we were in the past. So if anybody listening, for example, is interested in taking our comedy crash course, which is a 3-hour session where you can learn the basics of stand-up comedy, you can go and sign up right now wherever you are in the country. Previously, we were offering programs to people in just Virginia, DC, Maryland, that kind of mid-Atlantic region. And now people can take the classes from anywhere. So we certainly encourage folks to check us out and sign up.
Well, we will be dropping the links below in the comments so that everybody can go sign up. I would love to see what comes out of this as well. And we talk a lot about that, actually. The removing of borders and state lines has actually opened up us as nonprofits, our programming, nationwide for people to connect nationwide, for different chapters for the Bunker Labs perspective. But, you've also got something new going on called Stage Pass. You look really excited about it. Can you just tell us about it?
Yeah, this is a really exciting initiative that we've started up. So we started offering live stream performances every Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, stand-up comedy shows from some really talented veteran comedians who we've trained alongside really well-known headliners. So people like Rob Riggle, a Marine Corps veteran who's a star of SNL, The Daily Show, The Hangover, the other guys, ever, like so many huge films that we're all familiar with. Him and a lot of other well-known folks like comedian Aparna Nancherla, people who have been featured on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Last Week Tonight, so many big names. These shows are happening every Friday night at 8. And now, instead of being limited to a comedy club with 150 seats, we have unlimited spots in a live stream. So Stage Pass is an opportunity for monthly supporters of ASAP at $20 a month to gain access to all of these shows every Friday night, have something to look forward to, laugh, and also support veterans at the same time.
That's so cool. Definitely check that out. We'll be, making sure that people are aware of that as well when we post this, so that you can check out Stage Pass. I definitely want to be involved. I could always use some comedy in my life, some stand-up. So, as we're thinking, Bunker Labs and ASAP, both in the nonprofit space, right? So as an executive director of a nonprofit, what's your advice? I mean, it sounds like you're maybe busier than before, like some of us are.
No doubt. Absolutely. Yes.
And offering, 2 to 3 times programming, which I want to talk to you about your sleep patterns to see if I could take some tips. But, what's your advice for other people that are in the not-for-profit space? How can you pivot that quickly? How can you, remove yourself from it to really think about how you can offer those programs and services?
So I think that maybe the most important mindset to have right now is not how do we take what we were doing before and create a virtual version of it, but instead how do we instead say what is the virtual native version of our product or our service? Like, I'll give a more specific example, right? So many nonprofits are fueled by major fundraising events, and everyone's asking, how do I take my gala and make it virtual? Okay, yes, like that's a good question, but maybe what we should ask instead is what would be an event that you would normally host virtually, and how do you leverage the strengths of the virtual environment to make it even better than it would be if you're just putting everything you were going to do in your gala on an online Zoom call.
I think that's a great point. It's actually the big picture of reimagining, the entire thing. It's not having to offer exactly what you were doing virtually. It's making something for a virtual space.
Exactly. Make it for the virtual space. Yeah.
And what do you think nonprofits maybe prioritize, outside of a COVID-like situation that they should stop doing potentially and start looking towards the future to those opportunities?
I think we should certainly stop doing things that we do just because it's the way we've always done it, right? That's always a great way to revisit programs that you have, development strategies that you're using. Just because we've always been doing something in the past doesn't mean that it's going to work for the future. And so I think this is a great opportunity to just revisit, what does your day look like, and what are the meetings you can actually stop doing right now? What are the initiatives you can actually hit pause on, so that you can focus your energies on the things that are going to get the most bang for your buck right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that just perspective of, there's a lot of things that maybe you're doing that you have to do because you've always done. Now this is your chance. This is your chance to not offer that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, before we wrap this short interview up, as always, we'll encourage people to go check out ASAP. We'll drop the link to the website. But how can our Bunker Labs Military Connect community help you spread the word? How can we help your initiatives and what you're doing?
I really appreciate that. So everything that we offer, all of the classes, all of the workshops are available free of charge if people want to participate. So those are available to veteran service members, military family members, caregivers across the country. So just spreading the word to people who you think might be interested in learning how to tell jokes, learning to write short stories, or whatever kind of art they're interested in. Spread the word about those things that we're offering. And then if folks want to support us financially and also get some really great entertainment at the same time, sign up for Stage Pass. It's a fairly low cost, and it's a great way to support our veteran artists.
That's great. Brian, thank you so much. I will be signing up for Stage Pass. Absolutely. 100%. I'm excited about it. But
Love
thanks
it.
so much for joining us.
Liz, thank you for taking the time. This is great.